And now that we have set up a client and a project, we're ready to actually create the proposal. To do that, we're going to use a tool that we call the Selector, and we're going to single click on the Selector here, and it'll launch. You're going to notice we're going to have the Connect program prompt again, and we're going to have to enter in our password. This will take a minute to connect. As I said before, this is akin to starting up the computer for the first time. Once you have done this, it goes much quicker. So if you wanted to go back and forth with programs after the first time, it's not a problem. All right, now that the file has opened, we have a prompt, and it's whether this is an existing project, which you could go back and edit an existing project, or if this is a new one. Today, this is a new one because this is the first thing we've set up. Since we set up Mr. Ross Redmond in Project 111 Street Road, there are no other choices, so it will automatically default to this. If there were other choices, you'd be able to use this drop-down and select it. So today, we're going to just press OK and begin. The next thing that you're going to notice, and there's going to be another window that's going to pop up. And in this window, it's going to ask us what types of systems that we're going to have. Now previously, we had used the approximator to generate the project that we want. And I will have my notes, and this is a printout of what I use to do this, right here where I'm looking at this on another screen. On top of that, we have all the rooms that things are going to be assigned to, so we know how to allocate it. This tells me how many rooms I'm going to need, what's going to have to go where. So as I can see here, I know I'm going to need 8 rooms in security because I have at least 8 rooms in security because of the quantities that I have in here. And my notes show me that. So to begin with, I'm going to choose security and fire option and choose the quantity that I want is 8, and I'm going to come here with this drop down, and it's going to be security options from the approximator. We have nothing in energy management. I'm going to use 1 room for the Home Connect core. It'll be designed from scratch. We are going to have some lights in here, and I know that in my lights I'm going to have 2 dimmers, but they're going to be in a single room. Entertainment will be nothing. Independent living, I'm going to have a sensor from my sheet. That's going to be a water low temperature sensor for a water pipe I'm going to put on. And surveillance will have an additional room as well. I'll press the OK button. And once I do that, it's going to actually construct the selector for us with just the pieces that we need in here. Takes a minute or 2 to actually do that. Now that it has created this, I'm going to say OK. I want to just give you a quick tour of what we're looking at. First thing is we are in the surveillance tab. And if you notice at the bottom of the sheet, we have a series of tabs for all the different subsystems that we're going to have part of the overall system. So we have surveillance, independent living, lighting control, Home Connect core, security and fire alarm. And we have company setup. You'll notice these tabs again match directly to the approximator. In the company setup tab, we have all the reference materials that we need for setting up for an individual project. That means the taxes, labor rates, percentages. Since this is an independent project at this point, I can go ahead and change it. So for instance, if there were an out-of-state project and didn't want to change charge for taxes, I could come here and make this be 0. Or if I happen to be working in a different county that charges 9.25% taxes, I could go ahead and put that in here. And it's going to only apply for this individual project. Certain companies will have a single or limited logins, and you're going to notice it's going to default to 1 person in our contact in the company. I can certainly change that as well. So today I'm going to change the contact for this to Robert Markosha. And I'll change the email for that as well. So I'll just go in here, click on the field, and type. So now when we go ahead and generate the proposal, my contact name and email will show up on there. The company name is fixed. You will also notice in the sheet there is a button that says Refresh Populator. This is for any changes to the database that you want to make. You would hit this button, refresh, and it will go ahead and retrieve it. We also have Create a New Selector. If you wanted to start from scratch and start over, you could hit this button and it will do that. The next button is Add a System Type to the Selector. What this does is it allows you to add system types. So if we forgot, oh no, I forgot to add in my thermostat for the master bedroom, I can come over here and I can choose a quantity of one room, and it's going to be designed from scratch, and I'll hit OK. And it will now go ahead and add another tab at the bottom. So if you can notice here, we have the energy management tab is now there, so we can go ahead and add what we needed to in there. You can also delete a type from the selector with this as well. We click this button and choose what we wanted to delete. But today we're not going to do that, so I'd choose any of the one things that we had in here, but we're not going to do that for right now. Next, you're going to notice we have the room names. And in the previous client setup, these were the room names that were added into here. You're going to notice they're in the exact order that we entered them, and that's going to show up in just a few minutes as well. If we had a room that we wanted to add in addition to this, all I'd have to do is type here. So I could just say baby's room. And we can have another room that's going to be available to us. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start assembling the actual proposal. So first thing I'm going to do is click my first tab, which happens to be the energy management. If you notice at the top here, we have a blue highlight with a room name in it. Kitchen is not the room name that I would like for this. I would like this to be master bedroom. So I'm going to just click on the blue. It'll show me an arrow to use as a drop down, and I will come down to the room that I want and select it, and we'll change it. I have a couple other buttons up here. One is add a room, so if I wanted to have more than one room with a thermostat, I could click this and add it. I have save proposal and then refresh button again if I wanted to. So for here, I'm going to choose the thermostat. That's going to match up with our system, and we're ready to go. Once I choose something, it will show up in red, noting that it's now part of the project. So one of the things I like, and when you get to a more complicated project, is you're going to see this left column here will show you how many of those individual items that are in the project. And it's very useful when you're going through with lots of different devices. We are ready for the next one, which is security. And in security, again, you're going to notice the names across the top, which happen to be all the different names that we entered in the order that we entered them. So the first thing we want to do in the security is to the kitchen. And in the kitchen, we are going to have a wireless window door contact. And that's all. Next we're going to do is scroll over, and you see we have green divider bars between each room. We're going to go to the lower right and hit the right arrow and shift the page over until that green bar matches up with this line here. Now we're ready to go ahead and select. We're going to go to the master bedroom, and then it has two window contacts. So I'm going to select the window contact, the quantity, and it also has a smoke detector. So we're going to go down to where the smoke detector is, choose the smoke detector and the quantity. We're going to keep going through here for all the different rooms. I'm going to go to the den now, and as we're going through here, I am marking these items off of my list that I had made notes with during the client meeting. And since I did it in the order, it's very easy to follow along. So we have a motion and a contact for here. Bonus is also a smoke. You do not have to shift it. It's just easier to keep track of things where they are when you do shift it. Now that we've done that and we have everything in here, you can see we have our entire system here. We have the grand total for the whole project. That's including the energy management and this as well. And this has a total for the area, and this is a total for the security. So we can move on to the next tab, which is the Home Connect Core at the bottom. And in the Home Connect Core, I do not want this in the kitchen. I am going to want this in a hallway or a closet. I don't have it listed here, so what I'm going to do is go back to the company setup page, and I'm going to put this in the laundry room. I'm going to go back to my tab or a Home Connect Core, and I'm going to choose the laundry room, which will be at the bottom of my list since the last thing that was added. Put it in here, and for this system we have a Core 2 selected, and I just use a single quantity of 1. Next we're going to go to lighting control, and in my system I'm going to have 2 dimmers added to the family room. So I'm going to change the top to family room, den, and I'm going to do lamp dimmers and choose my 2 lamp dimmers. Next is independent living, and independent living is going to be in the kitchen, and we are going to want to go to the climate control. where we have a temperature sensor that we wanted to put in here, and it's actually in Climate Control 2, temperature sensor, and choose one. Then we go to surveillance, and the surveillance we're going to choose is going to be at the back door. And we're going to want a pan and tilt camera for that. That is Wi-Fi. But oh, we wanted to add one for the baby's room and we forgot, so we're going to come up to add a room. I will click that and we'll add an additional room. And it'll start off with a generic name called Area 2, 3, 4, depending on how many rooms you add. And I'll go to baby's room. And in the baby's room, we only need a fixed camera, and it will be Wi-Fi as well. And now we're ready to go. We have completed all the different items in this proposal. We have a total of $4,209.66, and we're ready to save this. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and press the Save Proposal. This Save button saves all the information into a database where it can be accessed later for reporting. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to exit out, and we're actually going to save the form that we're working in, so we can come back later in the future and then modify it. So it says, do you want to save the changes to Mr. Ross Redmond, 111 Street Road? And I'll hit yes, and you notice it dates it as well for you. And that is how you create a proposal. Thank you very much.